This is Rais by Gore Williams, and you're watching the Chat with Chaps live show.
Good evening and welcome to the Chat with Chaps live show. I'm your host, Joe Zampa, and tonight we've got a fantastic lineup here for you. You can probably see in the top left-hand corner of your screen there is the one and only Chris Chapman, who's supposed to be at work at the moment, but we won't tell anyone, will we? How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to be back, even if it's just for a short period. I am in the Gymshark warehouse, so yeah, it's nice to be on, even just temporary. Looking forward to it.
You are welcome, but then it is your podcast, Chris. So no need to ask for permission. But I'm glad you're with us. You won't be with us for very long, will you? I guess until someone peers behind you, you might have to jump off the screen. So we'll try and get to the chase as soon as we can. Next up, the source where ChatGPT gathers information on Mill-related subjects is the one and only Stato. How you doing, Stato?
Oh, that's the best intro you've ever given me, Joe. I like that. But I'm very good. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sort of looking forward to this show, but it's a little bit like, it's all the negative stuff I need to bring up. But you know what has to be spoken about, doesn't it? You know. But let's crack on. And next up, always balanced. She's always looking sharp, but she does turn to goo the moment Tristan Crammer's name is mentioned. It's the lovely Bex. How you doing, Bex? You good?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Looking forward to it. Like you said, the negativity, but I think we can get some positives out of it as well. So looking forward to it.
Good stuff. And very, very quickly, Bex, while we've got you, could you just explain what's going on in this picture for us as well, please?
So I was with my mum collecting our shirt sponsorship. Probably try not to grope him.
Where is your right hand?
Yeah, where is your right hand?
No, it was a really good day actually, and he was really lovely, really, really lovely.
Yeah.
And I didn't buckle under the pressure of talking to him.
I like the fact you made him hold the frame, so he had nowhere to put his hands after. Good, he couldn't block you off.
Yeah. So
And
the end.
The big news is he now has the restraining order in place.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
you can't be
now I
doing
know
it again.
who she is. I can put that restraining order in place.
He is predicted exactly. Now, finally, last but not least, the chairman of the Emakhu fan club. It's the one and only Ben Green. How you doing, Ben?
Mate, like I said earlier, I'm CEO, CTO, CIO, CCO, and all of the management layer beneath that, of the Emakhu fan club. But I am good. I'm interested to see what Bex's positivity is going to be tonight. But
Well, let's be honest. We need it. But let's just jump to the chat. There's 81 of you in there already, which is incredible. So first through the door is Aldo Metza. Cheers from Mexico. How you doing, Aldo? Good to have you on. I think you're new to our live show. Good to have you. Friend of the show, Jeff Charner. Hope you're well, Jeff. Good evening, Alex. Hope you're well, mate. Billy Smith. Good evening. Chris Brown. Hope you're well. Mark Crimsby. I just missed one, Ed. How can I miss that? John, MFC, even Chaps and Bex, another £10 donation. John, so kind, mate. And I know we say it every week, but we'll keep on saying it. Thank you so much. Really kind, mate.
Joe, sorry, if I may, sorry, just whilst we're talking about John, I mentioned this on the post-match, but John was part of a fundraiser on the weekend, which meant obviously he couldn't go to the game, probably for the better. And he chose to basically donate all of the amount of money that he'd raised through this fundraiser to Cancer Research / us, and he raised £150 that's now on the page. So just again, what a man, and thank you very much to John.
Well done, John. That was my next segment, Chris, but cheers for...
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
You saved me a job. But no, John, bless you, mate. Honestly, we're so pleased you did that. And thank you so kind of you. Biggie in the house. I hope you're well, Biggie. Oscan, good to have you with us, mate. Hughesy, hope you're well, mate. Hope you're all's good at your end. George FC, good to see you. Jesper, hope you're well, mate. Ian, hope you're well. Ken, good to see you. Benji, Craig Jones, how are you? Dave, good to see you. Good to see you, John. Bobby T in the house. Hope you're well, Bobby. Rob Moore, good to see you. Alex Mitchie. Here you go, Craig again, and Connor come through as well. Good, Lee. Good to see you, Lee. Right, I think we're there. So a couple more coming through. Max Anthony, good to see you. Lions are waiting. Alex M, I hope you're well, mate. Gaz Lyon, Jason, brilliant. That's it. Boom, we did it. Right, so guys, first of all, welcome to the show. I want to thank our sponsor, Spectrum VR, for sponsoring the podcast, of course. And please ask our viewers to like and subscribe and share. Obviously, everything we do for this channel goes to Cancer Research UK, so you can do your bit simply by liking and subscribing. First of all, Chris, we've got to touch on the game. We're going to talk about more important subject matters. But firstly, what's your reaction on the 3-1 loss at home to Hull Saturday?
Yeah, I think I said this in the post-match, but I think there was a defeat coming, given the amount of injuries and just what that meant. The players had to constantly go again. And I think we looked a bit tired at Derby. And so a defeat was coming. I think the combination of that, the fact that Hull were very clinical in that first half, we have to give Hull some credit, as much as we may not like to. They were very clinical in the first half. I also think that we were set up wrong in the first half. We were committing way too many men forward. And then, of course, I'm sure we'll talk about some diabolical refereeing decisions that I don't normally comment on, but I think we have to comment on that. So it was a combination of things. I think what now matters to me is we draw a line under that. We move on to Blackburn, which for me is a must-win game, because after that we've got Ipswich and Southampton, which will be two very, very difficult games. So I think we go into Blackburn knowing that we need to pick up 3 points. It's important that we're in and amongst it for that turn of the year.
Lovely.
Joe,
Cheers,
can I just jump in there off the back of what Chris said about the way we were set up wrong?
Yeah,
I was banging that drum literally prior to the game, as the game started. It wasn't necessarily personnel. It was Alex Neil clearly wanted to win the game and we come out like a train. But the problem is that if it didn't work, we had no real way of changing it. The only changes we could have made was to go more defensive. The fact you go 2-0 down in 20 minutes, you can't go defensive at that point. You still have to attack the game. So I think we needed a little bit more. I think Chris used the term a bit more Gary Rowett than Alex Neil ball, shall we say. But it was just a case, if we'd have stayed in the game, I think it would have been a different story. But we tried to go for it, and it cost us a little bit with who we had available.
Yeah, you're right. I guess in some ways our hand was kind of forced, wasn't it, Stato? Because we had the players who could play and we couldn't really move, the formation too much. I guess we could have played Reyes a little bit more deeper alongside Alfie Doughty, maybe. That could have been a slight change. But guys, before we go to bets, our new listener, Aldo, all the way from Mexico, has just donated $20, which is fantastic. I wish I knew my Spanish is better than this. It's saludos desde Gulaciana. I hope, does that mean that Chris is a bellend? No. Saludos. Someone's got Google Translate.
Call me what you want if you donate, mate. Call me what you want.
Call it someone's got to translate it for us. So saludos desde Gulacian. Aldo is probably pissed himself laughing at watching trying to explain that. But Aldo, love you for doing that, mate. It's so kind. As you know, everything we'll make of the channel goes to Cancer Research UK, so that will go straight to the charity. Thank you so much. Really kind of you. Bex, come to yourself next. What's your thoughts on Saturday's game performance and the result, of course?
I felt it was just a bit of a shit show from start to finish, to be honest with you. I kind of had hope that we might have actually just got like a 1-0 out of it. And then when we started off really quick, I thought, oh, brilliant. Do you know what? This looks quite good. 5 minutes in, a couple of shots on. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe this isn't going to be a 1-0, maybe a 2-0. And then it just went to pot. And they literally did tear us apart. They realised the midfield was non-existent and they just took advantage of it. And it was just really sad to see. But I think, like Chris said, we all knew that loss was coming. And maybe we just didn't think it was going to be then. So I think that was the shock in it, that it did happen. And although we had all them injuries, maybe we could have pulled something out of the bag. But yeah, so as soon as it went 2-0, I was just, you just knew. I was surprised more people didn't leave, to be fair. But yeah, it just left a real sour taste in my mouth the whole game. I think with everything that just went on, it just went from bad to worse to worse.
Yeah, I agree. And Bex, thanks for that. And come to you next, Ben. As Bex said, the first 5 minutes were like what's like watching Real Madrid, wasn't it? We're all over them, attacking them, balls going in the box. I think we created most of our chances in the first 5 minutes, but it all went downhill from there, didn't it?
Yeah, as you said, mate, it started really well. Had a couple of decent chances. Reis had one, didn't he, that he probably could have done slightly better with. BFS.
I can see that. Sorry, I laughed because I saw that message. It's like a little weed factory with all those plants and all those big lamps on behind them.
He doesn't actually work for Jim Chart. He works for he's like the gentleman. That's actually a weed factory.
It's a cover up.
Yeah. Listen, we started really well. Typical us as well. We start well. We never seem to score, do we, when we start well? But BFS had that header. It's almost one of those ones that you half hope it sort of comes off his shoulder and he doesn't get it as cleanly as he did. But yeah, look, we started really well. They were very clinical. They're a good side. I think my overriding feeling of it is one that we all know, but you just can't have this many injuries and compete in the league against good sides. We got overrun in midfield. They were just stronger than us, battled more than us. They were better than us in midfield. And when you've got a makeshift midfield, said midfield about 800 times there, you just can't compete. So just going back to something that Chris said, it's a must-win game against Blackburn. Yeah, Blackburn side haven't won at home since October. And haven't won their last 5 games. So you all know what's going to happen on Saturday, don't you? So
it's getting called off. That's what's happening.
Yeah, with the rain that we've had up here as well, it probably will be. So yeah, you know the writing's on the wall there. But yeah, this night again with Chris and what Bex, it was coming. I think the second half at Derby showed that. I think we were running out of legs in that game. And it just carried on to Saturday, really. And we wouldn't talk about the ref and that, but that didn't obviously help. But yeah, I'm concerned about our run of fixtures now and the squad that we have available.
I agree. And start with yourself again, Chris. Of course, I want to try and capitalise and utilise you as much as I can before you have to shoot off. The big elephant in the room, of course, is Mr. Gavin Ward, refereed our game on Saturday. There's a picture of him there, guys, just so you know who he is.
Very good.
So, Chris, what was your thoughts, obviously, on his performance? And obviously, there's lots for us to dissect here, but let's start things off with yourself.
Yeah, and just before I comment on that, we've got 10 players that play in central midfield out. 10.
Wow.
Right?
Incredible.
So,
yeah.
That includes Leonard. I'm classing Leonard, but it's 10. So it's just unheard of. So I just wanted to
even when you look at like Lamptey, who Rafiq Lamptey,
I've included
potentially play. Oh, you have. I was going to say,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
So you obviously Lamptey, Massimo. That's the Kundal, Smallbone. The list. Anyway,
Casper. Yeah.
But anyway, Mr. Gavin Ward. So I think, look. We've actually, prior to this, had quite a good record with Gavin Ward in charge, if you actually have a look, which
really,
because it always seems that he's very biased against us. I think there were
Please
a few
don't
issues.
steal my thunder there, Chris. Don't steal my thunder.
Sorry, you're the one with the stats.
He's coming. He's taking my praise off John to thank him for his charity donation. Now he's taking your stats away, Stato. What's going on?
You're going to take your fan club in a minute, Ben.
The way he's carrying on, he thinks like
you can have that on, Bex. That's fun.
He's acting like it's his podcast, isn't it?
Stato can fact check me. But in terms of Gavin Ward, but in particular, so I just think that number one, he was not in control of the game. He was allowing them to take the piss, quite frankly, with time delays, substitutions, the goalkeeper. More than one occasion, they kicked the ball out of play. Carl Joseph, when he scored, booted it into the crowd. You've then got the most blatant red card that never was with Liam Miller, which is a shambles. And then Hull were basically laughing at us, taking the piss because they took him off straight away. Yeah. And then the red card, whilst I personally do believe that the gesture that Femi did probably warrants a red card, if I'm being honest, and obviously everyone's got an opinion on that, it should never have happened because A, if Liam Miller gets sent off, the whole trajectory of the game changes, so we're never in that situation. And B, Carl Joseph should have been pulled up for holding back Femi, which I don't blame Gavin Ward for. I blame the linesman because that's where he was.
Yeah.
So I think all that to say, the standard of officiating on Saturday, with Gavin Ward included, was absolutely ridiculous. And what you're looking for is consistency, and we just did not get that. I never usually blame the referee for the outcome of a game. However, I do genuinely believe that Gavin Ward impacted the outcome of that game. And that's me being very diplomatic and calm, but would welcome the thoughts of others.
Yeah, no, I think that's well put, Chris, and appreciate that. You touched on there about the yellow card that wasn't, the second yellow card that wasn't to be for Liam Miller. I've actually got a little bit of footage here for our listeners and us to watch through again. It's only a 16 second clip, but again, I mean, it's just so blatant what he done. He did just tap the ball. He booted the ball away, didn't he? Let's have a quick look at it.
Into attack, ball played out wide. Everybody asking for offside. Oh, and he's kicked the ball away, and the referee now.
I mean, obviously, we're going to come to you next Saturday, but if there's ever a yellow card to be handed out for time wasting, surely that's it. By the letter of the law, that is the rule, isn't it?
Absolutely. Chris was quite diplomatic just then. I'm going to go a slightly different route, if I may. That is the biggest piece of cheating I've ever seen from an official in a Millwall game. I know people can have their opinions on decisions, but the two things that bug me the most about it, it's not that Gavin Ward hasn't given the second yellow. It's the fact that Liam Miller knows. You can see it in that clip. He puts his hands up straight away. He knows that he's done. That's it. Yellow card. He's that's it. He's finished. He's going off. And then 30 seconds after apologising, the whole bench quickly sort themselves out and make a change. They know. They know as well.
Yeah,
they know as well. So you can't reverse a decision. Well, if there was VAR, maybe, but you can't reverse a decision after it's he's made the decision he's not going to book him. But following following the whole bench's reaction, usually refs then sort of the next decision perhaps might go in our favour or something that, sometimes when they give a bit of a dodgy free kick, a 50-50 for a corner goes to the opposite team. That's the sort of thing that usually happens at any level of football. But he just went whole hog and there was a string of decisions. I think that the whole point around Ward and changing the game, I thought Hull played quite well on Saturday. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were pretty good. They were better than I expected. I think you have to curb that with that they played us at the right time with who was available. So would they have been knocking the ball around with our first choice? Perhaps not. But they played really, really well. And when you're playing well and you get those kind of decisions, we didn't have any chance really. And that just it adds to everything. But that was, as I said, that is probably the worst decision. I thought about this, and I saved it rather than put it in our group. I saved it for the podcast about shocking decisions that we've seen in our time. And the only one that comes close to it was years ago against Sheffield Wednesday when we scored from a corner. And while we were celebrating in the corner, the ref let them play on, and they had like an 8-on-2, and we still nearly kept that out. By the way, we still nearly managed to keep that. And that happened about 15, 16 years ago. I cannot think of a worse decision than that, not giving a second yellow at that point. I mean, someone might have another one in the chat, or you guys might have another one, but it's so bad, it's unbelievable.
Certainly one of the worst decisions I've seen in the game. But yeah, I agree. That one at Sheffield Wednesday was a bit of a weird one. But that's just probably us lack of focus and not realising that the goal was disallowed. I think that's why they played on, didn't they, from memory? Bex, coming to yourself next. Obviously, the referee influenced the game massively. Yeah. Had Miller been sent off, Mill probably could have had a better control of the game. It would have been, us against 10 players. I'm sure we would have gone for it. But before we hear from you, Mikel Arteta wants to say a quick word. Sorry.
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace. That's what it is, a disgrace.
Cheers, Mikel. Sorry about that. He just wanted to say a quick
word.
As he says, yeah. So what was your thoughts on that?
It was just, from the off, he just didn't have control of it. Like one thing that I think I said in the group was I would be really, bye Chris, that I would probably be really quite intrigued to know how much time like the goalkeeper wasted, like in minutes, seconds, because every time he got the ball, he was just bimbling around, and we've seen it with our goalies where they've had the ball and the rules been played, but he was just, it was just relentless, that he was just having a drink, and there was no come on, hurry the game up. I think out of like one part throughout the game that the ref actually eventually said like come on, and that was right near the end anyway, so it weren't exactly doing us a favour. And then like you said with the yellow card, it should have been that second yellow card, and he didn't, and then I think it just went even further downhill from that point, to be honest with you. Obviously the sending off, yes, it was a sending off, but like we said, the whole game could have been changed if we had them 10 men against us. It just felt like someone gave him a bit of a backhander, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say it. Then here we go.
Well, it was blatant, wasn't it?
But even it wasn't even just him, it was the linesman. It was like what was the point of them being there? They could just gone on a Sunday league game and just not had anyone, just had your mates officiating it, because they were all as bad as each other. They were. I kind of come away, and I, like on Sunday, I didn't really go on to X, and because I think I was just so infuriated by everything, I really just kind of kept myself back from it, because we just knew how everyone felt. So he was just shocking. I hope we never see him again.
Oh, me too. Cheers to that, Bex. And then Ben, just coming to yourself. Before we come to you, Ben, I picked out a tweet from Merv Payne earlier, and I think this tweet just says it all. You know, corrupt, cheating, plain and simple. Didn't apply the basic laws of the game regarding yellow cards for kicking the ball away, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Refs should be made to sit in on post-match conferences like managers do and be answerable to their decisions. Do you agree with that, Ben?
100%. 100%. I think when they get it so blatantly wrong, I think us as fans deserve an answer as to why they haven't. Because if we all have our day jobs, and if we fucked up that badly in our day jobs, you would get a disciplinary or something like that, or you'd get told quite abruptly by your manager what you've done wrong and why. So listen, I don't think referees should be able to get away with it, especially when it's as bad as that. It's genuinely, and I'm not just saying this with our Millwall tinted glasses on, it's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. And there was a point made at the beginning of the season about time wasting. I don't get what angle he can be coming from where it's not another yellow card. The player knows, he puts his hand up, like Stephen said, straight away. He knows he's fucked up. The whole know he's fucked up because they take him off straight away. I just don't get it. I just don't understand.
But there's not even a telling off, is there, Ben? There's not even a word of it. Just completely allowed him to do that. You know,
my only thing I was just about to say, my only thing can be that the ref doesn't think he's already booked. But even then, it's so blatant that it's a yellow card. So they're in no way. I can't get my head around it still, as you can probably tell. I just don't understand it. But yes, absolutely, Murphy's spot on, and refs should be held accountable.
Yeah. Can I just? So I was just going to add something. Like, I know, like, going and having a look at like all the whole fans saying, like, obviously with us giving it a rest, but I think they would have felt the same. So if there are any whole fans listening, I think that every fan, whatever the club, would have felt exactly how we're feeling in this moment in time. Because yes, I suppose in some way we do feel hard done by. And yes, we are banging on about it, but the whole game come down to the fact of how the ref and the officiators kind of played it. So it is quite frustrating. And I think most clubs will be feeling exactly how we're feeling at this moment in time.
And on the back of that, sorry, Joe, on the back of that, first half, let's be honest, first half Hull were pretty good, and they had other chances. And I don't think, and I've not seen many Millwall fans, and us included, turn around and say that had Liam Miller been sent off, we go on to win the game. I don't know if we would. We all know that we played badly against 10 men. But the game.
But Alex still mentioned that, didn't he, in his interview? And even he said, going against 10 men, we would have gone for it. It'd been us against attack versus defence, and who knows? We scored one with 10 players with Emakhu, so who's to say we couldn't score more? You know.
Absolutely, and a lot of Hull fans are saying, "Oh, it's the ref's fault. It's the ref's fault." Blah blah blah. I don't think people are saying that, and I think most of us can be, we're big enough and brave enough to say that Hull played better than us generally when it was 11v11. I don't think there's any getting away from that.
Weren't they? They were clinical on the counter.
But they also knew that they could use our weakness in terms of our availability. They knew that we were a side that they could get at, and that's absolutely fine. But it's refereeing decisions week on week. And then this is the tip of the iceberg. Last week, and I said this on Twitter, and people might not agree with me. Last week, we were lauding that the linesman at Bristol City gave an offside that wasn't an offside. Now, we've benefited there. And someone put a comment up saying, I don't think it does even out. I don't think it even outs for us either. But the level of officiating at the Championship in what's known as one of the best leagues, it's worth £100 million to get out of it, is not good enough. And they should be called out and they should be held accountable. That's what it's more about, not necessarily individual games. It's just shocking across the board.
But Gavin just to jump on that, Jonesy, sorry. Yeah. I was going to say, just to jump in on that as well. The point about the actual game itself is completely irrelevant. Like, it doesn't. Us potentially going on and winning the game, getting something from the game is irrelevant because it's holding the game to the standards and the rules that should be applied. It's not about being sore losers and saying, oh, if, buts and maybes. It's about the right decisions being made. It's a yellow card. It's a sending off. End of story. Like Jonesy said, we notoriously struggle against 10 men. We struggle when we have more possession than another team. We probably wouldn't have been able to break Hull down again because they'd have sat in, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So that is irrelevant. It's about what is right in the game. And that was just blatantly, I don't, as I said before, I don't understand in what world or what game of football he doesn't get a second yellow card. I just don't understand it. And there needs to be an explanation from the ref as to why. They won't, because it's just a game for us, right? If that's the Premier League, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville would be going absolutely mental about it and would still be hearing.
Yeah. What was interesting on Sky Sports, I think they even did a ref watch, didn't they? And I think they covered that game. I haven't seen it, but I heard they've covered that game. And the only thing they were looking at, the instant, was the Femi Aziz.
Yeah, of course it is.
But they did not discuss or bring up the time wasting and the play kick of the ball. Ben, sticking yourself for a second, as you're obviously chairman of the Idemo Marketing Fan Club, I think it's only right we come to you in this one. So there was a moment in that second half where it sounds like Emakhu was pulled back or kicked when he was going through the middle trying to take a couple of players. He sort of could have gone down. He tried to carry on. Then he kind of fell down. Now, the referee didn't give a free kick. They then, in transition, turned. And then, is it McCurvey, I think his name is, scores a third goal and kind of kills the game off there. Did you see that instant? What did you make of that instant? Was it a free kick, in your opinion?
Yes, it was. Is it probably a case of Emakhu being too honest in that situation? Like, if he goes down straight away, is it a foul? And that's not me knocking Emakhu for that. But again, if he goes down straight away, does the ref give it? Possibly, probably. Again, I just want to be clear. It's not me knocking Emakhu for that. But yeah, if he goes down straight away, he probably gets a foul. It's just one of those instances in football that us fans, we hate divers, we hate players that go down too easily, all that sort of thing. But as I say, in that instance, if he goes down from the initial contact, it's probably a foul.
Yeah, and I'd say, Ben, on that, with what you just said, that's probably one thing that we don't do enough as a team. We see lots of other teams really milk it, go down, and we don't. We're just, and we've said it in the past, that we are too honest, and it's like, hand help you up sort of thing. We just kind of, I suppose in a way we want to just get on with the game, but actually maybe something we need to start doing is,
it seems like it's part of football, doesn't it?
Skills.
Yeah, I think it's part of football. Stato, coming to yourself next. And another point I want to bring up again is to do with Gavin Ward's officiating, was the yellow card given to Alex Neil. So once that goal went in, the third goal, of course, Alex Neil's protesting and he's going to the fourth official and he's saying, look, that was a free kick there in the middle. Why is I not giving the free kick? Blah, blah, blah. And then the referee comes over and he books him. Now, apparently, Alex Neil spoke to the referee after and asked him, why did you book me for? And he said, you didn't control your bench and they all came over with you to have a go at the fourth official, which is nothing to do with Alex Neil, but apparently he got the blame for that and he got a yellow card. So again, it's just another thing. Gavin Ward, what is this guy on? Like, you know,
a role that no one's never heard of anymore.
But
I've never heard
well,
of that.
apparently so. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. How many, like, sometimes you see it that like the assistant goalkeeping coach gets booked because they get up and kick off or whatever, or like the physio gets a booking for getting involved. Look, Gavin Ward, he's just a shocking ref. To touch on what Chris said earlier, and I'm going to respond to a comment that was in the chat as well, but Gavin Ward, our record when he refs us, since 21-22, 14 games, we've actually won 10 of them. So we actually have a good record when he's ref. But Phil Clark, obviously a friend of the show, said it in the chat earlier, and I make him right. He said that the thing is, sometimes it galvanizes us because the fans, when he gives a shocking decision, the fans then sort of get off their seats and start, you know, that atmosphere builds again. That's probably why we have a good record, because we get involved a little bit more. But
we become the 12th man, don't we?
Absolutely. And to again, going back to keeping with Gavin Ward, there was a comment, I think it was Ian, that said something. He asked me directly about most free kicks against and least free kicks for. That stat come out. That is factually correct. So we've given away the most fouls in the championship, and we've been given the least amount of fouls in the championship. So doesn't matter what ref it seems to be across the board, we aren't getting those decisions. I look at a player like, for example, Emakhu. A couple of times he went past the fullback and was taken out. Okay, we got the foul. I don't think we have enough players that do that try to draw fouls out of, which doesn't help in terms of gaining free kicks. But like Beck said, and Ben touched on as well, I don't think we look for fouls either. I think we are a little bit honest. We do stay on our feet. I agree 100% with Ben. And Emakhu, if he goes down first contact, it's a foul. The game's dead, and we get a chance to lump a free kick into the box. So there's a number of things that go into it, but you can't argue with the facts that referees are not protecting us as well as they are perhaps hindering us, because the numbers are there that back it up.
Yeah, completely agree. As much as I love to spend the whole show talking about how poor Gavin Ward is, there's lots more to talk about, so we've got to move forward this one. Bex, coming to yourself next. Obviously, there was an incident with Femi Aziz's red card. He was in a clash with Carl Joseph. Where I sit up in the kitchen stand, looking down, I had a good view at it, and obviously you can see Carl Joseph blatantly was holding on to his leg and tangled in with him, didn't want him to get up and move. And of course, you know, allegedly Femi Aziz sort of broke away and caught him or kicked him, what you want to call it, that, and gets a red card. Did you see the incident? I don't know if you saw it in real time, whether you have to look it back again.
I wasn't in the toilet, so that's a good positive. Like I normally
That's a good start.
Things. So I'm on the lower block, on the opposite side to it. So it was directly in front of me, and yeah, he was holding him down. It was a right tussle. You could see that they both had, like, their legs were entwined, and then obviously, yeah, he was trying to break away. And personally, to me, it did look like he kicked out. But today, I have seen multiple different angles footage. I think there was a Twitter account for Hull somewhere along the lines that had posted like a face on, and you could really see the hold that their player had on Femi's leg. And you can see that, yes, he stood up and he's tried to get away and his leg has gone back. So it makes me question, actually, maybe it was just more of the fact that, like, you know, when someone's holding your leg, you kind of just want to get away. And that's
a reaction, isn't it? It's a reaction.
Like more do you know what? I think he was frustrated, Femi, and he was just really kind of caught in that moment. Yes, he maybe shouldn't have reacted the way that he did, but I think when you look at it, yes, it is a red card, and obviously we are going to appeal it. I don't think we're necessarily going to get anything out of it. But yeah, I think if the linesman had actually flagged it when it initially went, they all went down to the ground and they didn't let that play, it would never have got to what it got to. But
Good point.
they they let it play, and their player just obviously fed into it. He knew that Femi was riled up, and he knew what to do. He's a great actor, that guy. He bit of a, won't say what I think, but yeah, it was just frustrating because it completely obviously changed the game. Yes, we got the goal back through Idemo, but it's just going to have a knock-on effect, isn't it? We're gonna lose him for really 3 important games, and yeah, it's quite disheartening, really. Yeah, but it did, like I said, from where I was sitting, it did look like initially I did think that he kicked out, but like I said, I've seen things today, and actually, I'd really question that really wasn't a kick. He was just trying to get away, and it was just through frustration. It looked probably worse than it actually was.
Let's hope so. And cheers that, Bex. And then Ben, come to yourself next. As Bex mentioned earlier, we are going to appeal against. I think it was mentioned on Southwark News Journal. Will Scott mentioned that Millwall will appeal against the length of the ban. So it's not actually about the actual incident. I think they're accepting it was a red card, but what they are appealing against is the length of the ban. They want to get the ban reduced from 3 games to maybe 1 game because they feel it's a little bit harsh. What did you feel about that? Do you feel we've got a good case there?
No.
Okay.
Just going to disagree. No, listen, I
short answer.
Yeah, I just don't think we have, mate. I've seen the same video that Bex has. Listen, he knows what he's doing. He's kicked out. It is out of frustration, 100%. It is because the geezer's holding him. Femi knows what he's doing. I don't see any grounds in which we get this overturned, in my opinion. I just don't. It's a red card. As I said, I completely agree with everything that Beck said. It's out of frustration, blah, blah, blah. But it's, I don't see any way it gets overturned, in my opinion.
Okay. Stato, obviously Ben feels it's a correct decision. He feels there was probably intent there. Do you agree with Ben? And also with regards to the appeal implications, hopefully you might know more than most of us with regards to the implications, what could cause, because obviously if it's a 3-game ban, you're trying to appeal against it and you're not successful, the 3-game becomes a 4-game ban. However, because we're not appealing against the whole ban, do we still get to, does there still be an extension if we don't win the case? I don't know if we've done any research into that, have you, at all?
So first of all, I'll answer the question about do I think anything will happen? I don't think it will, because I think it undermines referees' linos, and I don't think the FA are going to go against that. I think there's enough to suggest that there was contact, Aziz, whether people want to say stamped, kicked out, whatever the terminology is, it didn't look good in real time. I thought he did actually try to kick him. When I've looked at it back, I don't think it's as bad as that. He is trying to wriggle away, but I think it's a red card. I think Aziz probably will be quite disappointed with himself for the reaction, because he'll look at it and go, he wasn't having a particularly good game, but he's so important to us, and the squad is threadbare, and I think it was just very, very silly from him. He'll learn from that. He will learn from that, and I think that the club will learn, that perhaps sometimes cooler head would prevail. Maybe if he went down rather than kicking out, that would obviously force the ref to stop the game. A different action changes things. We've said that plenty of times. In terms of the appeal, my understanding and what I did look into it, if you appeal the red card, so you don't think it's a red card, and you lose the ban, you lose the appeal, an additional game is given to said player. From what I can gather, that if we appeal for a reduced ban, and obviously we're successful, it can be I think it can be reduced. They can either choose to reduce it to 2 or 1. So there is possibility for that to happen. It isn't just a case of 3 or 1. It could go down to 2, which again, it wouldn't be ideal, but it would be something in terms of getting him back a little bit sooner. Is there
an element, Stato, where again, in an ideal world, I'm probably thinking of in a world where everyone's running on the beach and they're all high-fiving each other and everyone's all happy. But the fact they fucked up so badly with that second yellow with Miller, that they might say, you know what, we'll give you that one and we'll reduce it to a 1-game ban because that was perhaps it was a little bit too harsh. I don't know. Would they act that way?
that is possibly why Millwall are looking to appeal it, because of the standard of officiating and everything that went on in the game. If they can prove their case and go and say, look, this, and this, that might be a reason why. Because I'm surprised Millwall come out and said that they're going to appeal it under any grounds anyway. But if they're going to do it, that's the time too. I think, and unless someone can correct me on this, but what I believe the rule to be is that the FA can increase the ban, but only if they believe that there isn't enough evidence to support why we're trying to get it reduced, if that makes sense. So on that basis, I don't think his ban will be extended, because Millwall will put forward a case and say, this is why we're doing it. And I don't think they'll have much of a leg to stand on to say, well, that's not enough. You haven't got much of a case, because I think there is a case there. I just think they'll turn around and go, it's a 3-game ban. We're leaving it as it is, and all parties move on.
Yeah, Alex says as well, the FA won't even consider that. They'll back Ward 100%. I'm in agreement with you, Alex, mate. I think that
so am I.
That could be it. Staying with Femi Aziz, a little bit off pitch now, Ben. Obviously, there's a club statement that was sent out, and I'm going to just bring it up on the screen here. I'm sure, guys in the chat, I'm sure you've seen this already, but I'm going to bring it up for those that haven't. Millwall Football Club is aware of racist abuse directed at Femi Aziz on social media following Saturday's Sky Bet Championship fixture against Hull City at the Den. The club condemns this behaviour in the strongest possible terms and is angered that Femi has been subjected to such disgusting abuse. Racism of any form of discrimination has no place in football or in society, and we firmly stand with Femi. It is important to highlight the account holder responsible for this abuse appears to have no affiliation with either Millwall or Hull City. Nonetheless, such actions are completely unacceptable and will not be tolerated under any circumstances. The club will continue to work with the relevant authorities and platforms where necessary and remain fully committed to promoting equality, inclusion and respect within the game. Everyone at the club offers Femi and his family its full support. And of course, on behalf of Chat with Chaps and Chat with Chaps family, we offer support to Femi as well. And yeah, I mean, what do you make of that, Ben? And obviously it sounds like, from reading between the lines, and this person's not a Millwall fan. There's no Millwall relevance to it. There's no Hull relevance to it. It's some guy, I think, over in South America or something. So who knows what his agenda was?
Yeah, who knows, mate? And to completely agree with the statement that's been put out. No one wants that at football. No one wants it directed at our players, or any players, to be quite honest. But yeah, listen, it's too easy this day and age to be able to hide behind a Twitter account, a faceless Twitter account, and say what you want, basically. People, should be held account for their actions. Hope they do find the person. But yeah, listen, we all stand behind Femi in this. I have no doubt that it has no connection to Millwall whatsoever. So yeah, listen, I hope they sort it out. And yeah, as I say, we're all behind Femi.
Nice one. Cheers, Ben. Stato, coming to yourself next. Obviously, this guy allegedly lives in South America, so I don't think there's much we can do for him, like legally or through the police route. But I think the worst, or the best rather, that we can do is to get his account sort of taken down or whatever it might have been. But there's no place in society, let alone football, is there, for those kind of things?
No, I think it's Ben summed it up perfectly there. In today's world, it's just too easy for people to do these things, and the damaging nature of those kind of comments or messages or whatever it was that Femi received. You know, some people in all walks of life have probably dealt with something similar. Some people, you know, they are able to let it just, you know, water off a duck's back, but other people are really impacted by it, and you don't know what impact it's had on Femi, and whether he's not too disheartened, or whether he is disheartened, it shouldn't happen. So there's no place for it, and I know it shouldn't be about this, but he's so important to us as a football team and the fan base. Like, he's so important that you just don't want these kind of things to derail him or the wonderful form that he's been in. But nothing nothing to do what we're led to believe. It's nothing to do with a Millwall fan. I would put it. I would say that they're not much of a fan, would they? If it was someone that was sending those kind of messages to our current, arguably best player. So we are with Femi, and anybody that thinks that that's acceptable is obviously not welcome at Millwall Football Club.
Well said. That's well said, Ben, earlier. And Bex, just coming to you yourself, just get your final thoughts on the situation. I mean, I watched the daily. I think it's called the Daily Millwall. It's really good. If you haven't watched it on YouTube, guys, watch it every day. The guy puts content out there. He just sort of talks about things that go on in the club and stuff like that. And one of the things he mentioned as well is that there are a lot of betting websites. Especially in countries like South America or in Asia or India, wherever, where the result of his bet could have fallen through Femi being sent off. Maybe he had Millwall to win or Millwall to score, or where it might have been. So it couldn't be something as stupid as that. Where this guy's got no affiliation with the club whatsoever. He's on a betting website and he sees what's going on, so he just put a tweet out or an Instagram message or whatever it might be. But either way, there's no, it's not right, is it?
Yeah, no, there's no place for it, and I think that probably just topped his day off. Really, to be honest with you, I kind of felt for him, like obviously with having the sending off and then probably receiving all the abuse that he received, it probably just felt like an awful day in the office for him. And the club's put out their statement, and like we all said, we all stand by him. I think keyboard warriors all the time. We have this social media around, which we do, and we wouldn't be here if we didn't have it. But unfortunately, I think there's always going to be them keyboard warriors that will be sitting behind and putting out. And like Ben said, it's normally no face to an account. They're the ones I think that are the worst for it. But yeah, we stand by him, and again, there is no place for it, and they're definitely not welcome down Millwall. And if they think that they are, then they've just they've got another thought coming to them. So yeah,
absolutely. At the end of the day, we're not in the 70s anymore, are we? Or 80s, where it was. When it was almost accepted, wasn't it, in football society? We've come a long way now. And our culture and our club is so multicultural. and I love our club, and I love how we embrace the diversity of different societies. So we don't want that.
Yeah, we are. We do put ourselves out there as we are that like you said, multicultural. And you look around the field, and it's diverse. We are a diverse club, and no matter what people say, and we're not that club that people think that we are. So
no, that's right, exactly.
But just on that, sorry, Joe, just on that, I know we joke and have we mock about fan clubs and things like that, but the players that are currently idolised at the moment are from France and Belgium. That they're two of our biggest players in obviously Casper De Norre and Tristan Kramer. You've got a Kiwi in goal at the moment, or it could be a Dane, it could be a German. You've got a Serb up front. You've got an Austrian playing wide left. We've got a lot of Irish players that have played for the club. We do embrace all nationalities. One of our greatest heroes of all time, or in my lifetime, was from the Comoros Island. For those that
Jimmy Abdul.
Abdul. So it's such a shame that not only is it a bad result, and not only has Femi probably walked out of the ground thinking, "What have I done?" It has made his day that little bit worse. And we're talking about that, which we shouldn't have to talk about, and that's the biggest problem.
No,
we shouldn't have to talk about it.
Exactly. But Femi, we're with you, mate. We're supporting you, and we're giving you lots of strength, and hope that you and your family are okay. Moving on, guys. Ben, I come to you because it's either Emakhu. Who else can I go to? Great impact off coming on. Is it fair to say to come off the bench? I mean, great goal, great finish. Obviously, an amazing assist from Alfie Doughty to make it 2-1. What did you make of his performance when he come on? Was you impressed?
Well, I'm going to go far as saying I was impressed. It was a good finish. It was actually unlucky. Femi should have scored from his ball in the box, which, found its way to Femi at the back post. I don't know how Femi didn't score. But the ball from Doughty is what makes that. And I think I put it in the group. He's the only player in our squad who can play that pass to an absolute inch. For all his other flaws and his off the field stuff. Yeah, he's the only one with the technical ability that can do that. So, yeah, great ball from Doughty. Listen, it's a great finish from Emakhu. Like I keep saying, I want to see that more often. He gets in those positions all the time. If he can get that end product into his game, he is going to be a good and lively player for us. But, yeah, it's still times where he still did it on Saturday. When he come on, he still makes wrong decisions from time to time. And he just listen, he is what he is. He's frustrating. He's going to... I was just saying he'll stick one in the back of the net like he did, but he doesn't do that often enough to warrant that. But yeah, listen, great goal. Hopefully that is first of many for him for the rest of the season. I'm still very much in the under George Honeyman stats, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously he's doubled his goal tally for us. He's now up to two goals
Congratulations
in 65 games, isn't he? So, and I don't know if you saw Alex Neil's message. I think again on Suffolk News, he mentioned that I think Idemo is one of the best finishers at the club.
I'm not having that at all. He's lying. I'm just not having that. He might see him day in, day out, but I'm sorry. Sorry, Alex. I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
I can't make you suffer anymore. I've got to come to you next, mate. I've got to come to you. What did you make of his performance? And are we seeing enough consistency from Idemo at the moment for us to kind of toe that corner with him?
I'm going to answer that in a slightly different way because as I'd said off camera, I had a couple of mates come to the game on Saturday, and they come every season. They come to a game every season, and as we left the ground, as the game finished, we were leaving the ground. One of them said that Emakhu, I think he said the number 23, I think that's his shirt number, was or 21 or whatever it is, said he was your best player. And
I didn't know you had visually impaired friends, don't you?
I was good. Well, this is the thing. It's someone who's not a Millwall fan, who hasn't seen him week in, week out, has watched that second half and gone, he was our best player today. I thought he did have a good impact. Ben was right. Femi probably should have scored, or Ivanovic probably should have been in a better position to have a tap in. I think he's unlucky that one of those two didn't finish off the chance. He did take his goal very well. I thought he did look better than what we'd seen, but it's one game. It's 30 minutes, isn't it? It's one goal. You know, I think, you know, Caleb Taylor scored an absolute wonder goal. He's probably never going to do that again. And that's the thing, isn't it? Emakhu's got one goal. It's not like it's happened over a couple of weeks. I do think, I think Ian put it in the chat again, he needs to step up now. And I think at the moment he really does. We need to see some more from him over the next few games, because if Aziz is out, if we do lose the appeal or whatever the case may be, Emakhu's he's guaranteed basically to be starting, I think, because we don't have another option to be playing out wide, and people are going to be shifted around. So hopefully it is we've said it about Ivanovic scoring a goal and hoping to get confidence. It hasn't quite worked. I think that if you look at Emakhu's celebration, he's posted all over his Twitter, his Instagram, his pictures and videos. I think it's a massive weight lifted off of his shoulders. I do think it was something that was playing on his mind. He probably has Ben on repeat on his headphones, like slating him. So thinking, I'm going to show him. And I hope he does.
Ben on his dressing room mirror, isn't he? Like, you know, just watching him. So I'm going to prove you wrong, Ben. I'm going to prove you wrong today.
I was surprised to congratulate him on his goal. I follow him on that.
But awesome. I just hope that this is a little bit of a confidence boost and we do see some more from him. Much like Ben, if Emakhu was the best finisher in training at the moment, he would have had to go up front with Ivanovic having, should we say, indifferent performances. If the fact that he's not been given a chance possibly suggests that that's some excellent PR by Alex Neil, thinking, please carry on next weekend at Blackburn.
I was just about to say, it's an amazing piece of PR he's done there. If we're trying to tell Emakhu in January, get some money from him, he's just trying to inflate the price. That's what he's doing.
Wherever he's doing this, hope it helps. Bex, come to yourself. Just want to read Alex MSC's Twitter. Goals at the Den. Emakhu 1, Langstaff 1, Joe Zampa 1.
Don't feed him.
Ben Green 3. Just saying.
Actually, has Langstaff scored at the Den?
Yeah, he has.
Has he?
Preston last year. When Emakhu, funny enough, got sent off, and then Neil Harris never played him again. And then
right,
do you remember?
yes. I remember. Yeah, cheers for that, Stato, and cheers for that, Alex. Bex, come to yourself next.
Yeah, so I actually think Emakhu's celebration like this was to Ben going, thank you, Ben, for all that flavor.
It was like, Ben, please just leave me alone. Stop abusing me.
Literally, continue on.
You're a shit chairman of my club, of my appreciation of the Mighty Marco Club.
If anyone wants an Idol Emakhu t-shirt, sell them for £5 a pop.
Yeah. Called cancer research, yeah.
Yeah,
I left that bit out on purpose, Bex. I need some money for Christmas.
So, yeah, do you know what? The goal was beautiful. I'm not going to lie. I was pretty impressed where I was sitting. The curve, like when he kicked it, like I had a perfect view, and it was beautiful. You could see from the moment he kicked it that was going in. And like I said, the ball coming through from Alfie. I didn't really appreciate it at the time, but now I've watched it over and over. You can really appreciate how beautiful that ball was to Emakhu, and then for Emakhu to actually finish it. And I think the shock was that he finished it, because we've seen it so many times where he's tried
over
and
the
tried,
bar
or continue to run it out of the pitch. You just kind of, he gets the ball and you think, oh, here we go again. He's going to run it off.
Right. He looked like a top striker there.
That's it. He got it and he composed himself. He actually done what we've been screaming out for him to do. And he got it in the back of the net. Then, yes, he had moments throughout the game where he just was typical Emakhu. But I do really hope that actually, like Starry said, that was like that relief kind of off his shoulders of like, oh my God, I'm so pleased that's happened now. So, yeah, let's hope that actually that does give him that bit of confidence and that he does continue on, because, yes, we do need him to step up and we do need him to be that finisher. He does need to be stronger on the ball at times. He does get pushed off a bit. But again, I suppose that comes with the minutes. We need the minutes to be played. And if he's not getting the minutes, he's not getting the time to create these chances and work on. But then I suppose we then question and go, but how much longer do we give to kind of to give him? It's like a real catch-22, isn't it? But we do need him at this moment in time to really step up. And he did change the game when he come on. I think all them subs, when they were brought on, you could see there was a good change and it changed the dynamics a little bit, but it was that little too late. And I think the fuel and everything just kind of, yeah. But no, do you know what? He done great. And I was very pleased for him that he scored. I think now anytime he does anything, I just instantly think of Ben. Sorry, Ben.
That's handy, Bex. You don't do too much. So.
Long make it continue. It's nice seeing Ben say some nice encouraging words.
But there's the positive out today's show that Emakhu scored. You wanted to know what the positive was, Ben? He finished.
Exactly. Yeah. He's listening. Stato, I'm going to start with you this time. Obviously, great goal by Emakhu, but it wouldn't have been that great if it wasn't a great pass from Alfie Doughty, who played in the midfield role as Dan Kelly was obviously injured. What did you make of Alfie Doughty's performance playing in that kind of number 6 CDM role on Saturday?
I think I said this. I thought he had a good game. I think maybe that it's a little bit overshadowed by the assist because it was that good. And second half, obviously, he got on the ball a lot more and tried to dictate the play and obviously, looked pretty good. First half, I think he was at fault for the first goal. I think if you watch it back, I think Chris went into a bit of detail on this on his post-match, and I thought at the time, and after when we will get beat, I don't look at the highlights straight away. I do for purposes of coming on this, but I don't look at them straight away. And I think he loses the ball, and if he just has a little bit more effort, he probably can get back and stop the cross. But he's
just
playing it out of.
Sorry, man. As I said, I couldn't believe that. He was really unlucky with the first one with the throw because he obviously controls it and he half sort of a tackle come something and he's unlucky with that. But the bit that I couldn't get my head around was that bit like you're talking about. Why hasn't he slid? Why hasn't he even made a bit of effort to stick a leg out? He almost just watches it go 1 yard in front of him, and it was all like I watched it a few times to sort of try and get my head around it and go, why has he not? He
done this. He went.
He just sort of ushered it past him, literally. And I was like, why has he not stuck a leg out there, or why has he not tried to cut that out? Sorry, James.
There's almost two errors there, weren't there? One, giving the ball away, I think, in the first place where the player went past him, and then second,
that was a bit unlucky. That was a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
I felt.
Yeah, it was unlucky, but it just kind of showed that's the sort of thing with players out and perhaps players playing an unfamiliar system. You need the rub of the green. You need things to go your way. That goes to their player. They run through. Again, I think he could do better with the clearance. People talking about him being a little bit lightweight. I didn't see that personally. I think he was playing in a foreign position. He's not a central midfielder. He's probably never done that before. He'd be doing it for a few weeks, I think, because
which is Ben the Beaver said exactly the same thing there. Doughty, I thought, was quite poor first off the ball. Can tell he's not a midfielder. He's almost trying to find his feet, weren't he, a little bit?
Absolutely, and that's again, someone had to play there. We couldn't play with no midfielders. Like, we had to do something. He's arguably our best passer of the ball. I agree with what Ben said earlier. No one else in our team, I don't think, have played the type of pass that he played for the assist. So that's what they're looking for, someone to maybe try and get us going on the ball. I thought he did. He was one, I think, come out with perhaps a bit more credit than some. He's playing out of position. It's how difficult is that? I don't. People often have said, if you're a professional footballer, you can do the basics in any position. But if you've been coached and drilled and practiced to play left back, left mid all your career, and all of a sudden it's right, you've got to play in the centre of the park. It is going to be difficult. I think his fitness is probably something that is going to be a little bit left a lot to be desired. I think that's going to be the only issue with him playing in there. Are we going to be able to get, with a run of games coming, are we going to be able to get him consistently fit enough to play 90 minutes on next Saturday? Then we play again on Boxing Day. We play again on the Monday. It's just that's going to be the little issue. But I thought he did okay. And we spoke about the assist. It's another assist for him. That's what we knew he could bring to the club. We knew that he was going to be one that was going to create chances for us. So I'd love to see him actually play wide left. I really would love to see him play wide left with someone else behind him. So whilst he doesn't have to fully concentrate on defending, but I don't think we're going to see anything like that for a while, unfortunately.
Awesome. Cheers. That's Tate. Bex, coming to yourself next. Just want to get your thoughts on Doughty's performance, and it sounds like he's going to probably play again on Saturday. There's no real other options, although there's a few options in the chat coming through. What did you make of his performance, and do you see him doing a job for us in the short term?
I think he's going to just have to be honest with you. He did look out of place. You could tell that it wasn't his natural position. I think you could see from him playing that position, we were being left open. And you could see, as others have mentioned, and Sato just mentioned, that his fitness is a real, I think, big issue. He doesn't have that pace and that speed to be there. But he was one of our better players on the day, to be honest with you. And if he does continue on doing them assists, then we can only be happy with what he's producing. But I think it is a case of, at the minute, the players are going to just have to kind of get on, and if that's where they got to play, that's where they got to play until we get our squad back fully fit. It is a case of all stepping up, whether you play there or not. I suppose we all do it in our jobs sometimes, don't we? We have to do something that we're not paid to do. So I think it's a case of them all having to just all get together and work out what the best options are. I think we're so limited. He should have stuck a leg out. He should have maybe run a bit quicker to kind of
intercept
stop them goals. I think that was the frustrating thing, and especially that was really early on as well. Like, you think them goals were pretty early on. Do you know what I said? He weren't our worst player. I was impressed. I've found actually the more I've seen him play, I've been more impressed with what he's been producing. Like, I was really apprehensive because I didn't really know hugely about him, and I hadn't really seen him play too much. And obviously we're like, oh, he's Millwall. But actually, the more he started playing, you can see that there is that talent there. But he's just having to play out of position, and he's gonna have to just put his big boy pants on and get on with it.
Can I just say on that, Joe, just to echo what Beck said there, the being Millwall thing. I'll be honest with you. I don't see that in him. I don't think it's he's playing for the badge like a Millwall fan necessarily. I think, and he made
He's not like a Danny McNamara or that kind of Billy Mitchell effort. No.
But he's never claimed to be either. If you listen to his interviews, he spoke about his dad and his granddad being the Millwall fans and a Millwall family. He's come to us to do a job. He is a professional footballer, and I think whilst he has some pelters, and I don't think he's
updated.
He's got some pelters for some of his social media activities, especially when he was injured. I don't think that's done him any favours. But I think he purely come to a club that he feels could get him a chance to get back into the Premier League. Whether we do that or not, that's another issue. That's going to be, whether that's going to be this season, next season, whatever, I don't know. But I don't think he, whilst people say he's Millwall and that his family is Millwall, he doesn't come across as that something that phases him. He's a professional footballer. He doesn't want to play at centre mid. Of course he doesn't. He wants to play in his preferred positions. But I get the feeling that when he is fit and available and the manager says, Alfie, I need you to play there, he's just going to go, all right, I'll do it. I'll play there and get on with it. I don't think he'd be complaining too much and he'd give it his best. I just think that he sees us as an opportunity. And if he doesn't quite do it with us, he'll move on. That's just my gut feel with him. But as Beck said, as I said it earlier, he wasn't one of our worst players and did come out of a little bit of credit overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, he certainly scored quite high in the rating, especially with that assist as well. Ben, before we come to yourself, just want to say a quick shout out to Roz. Sorry, very late to the party. We'll listen back. Roz, hope you're well. Good to see you on Saturday. If you haven't saw Roz, she went round with the old veil on the head. For her, what do you call it?
A hen party.
She
was on a hen party.
Hen party with her friends and family and all that. So good to see you there. Ben, just get your final thoughts on Doughty's performance. So if I'll come to you on that one.
Yeah. As I said, mate, great assist. I've said it a few times with him. The key with him is keeping him fit, and it's probably the reason why he's playing at us and not in the Premier League. We know his technical ability. It's keeping him fit, finding probably his best position for us as well. Like Jonesy said, I don't mind him further up the pitch. I never really saw him as us signing him as a left back. And agree with Jonesy, he's probably going to have to play. And like Beck said, he's going to have to play in midfield for the time being. But listen, I'm a big admirer of his technical ability. I think he still needs to be. Well, I don't think he's ever actually going to be any fitter than he is at the minute. And as I say, I think that's the reason why we've got him and he's not in the Premier League already, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, good point. Although he did rip up in the Premier League when he was up there with Luton. I remember having him in my fantasy PFL football team. He scored loads of points for his assists, weren't he? And all sorts, So, also, just talking about midfield, alongside Emakhu, I'll come to yourself, Bex, on this one, was Raïs Bangura-Williams. Now, as you know, the Chat with Chaps family, ourselves and our listeners, and all the Millwall fans as well, have been pushing really hard to get Raïs into starting lineup. Of course, it's almost been Alex Neil's hands have been forced a little bit with so many injuries, but he's getting his opportunity. He is playing. However, I've looked at a stat earlier, and Doughty had 62 touches to the ball on Saturday, and Raïs had 15. There's a massive difference. Now, is it a game plan? Is it a case of, give the ball to Doughty, let him ping the balls wide, and therefore it's almost kind of ignoring Raïs Bangura? I didn't feel there was many balls played through the middle on Saturday. A lot of it was going wide to the wide players and not through the middle. Now, he was supposed to be playing his number 10 sort of role. But again, it's almost been asked to play there to do a defensive job. It's all about the press. And one thing about Raïs Bangura is that we know his biggest strength is on the ball and getting on the ball and making things happen. But that clearly didn't happen because, again, 15 touches in a game doesn't show that we actually utilised him and played to his strengths, did we?
Yeah, no, I think he was completely lost on the pitch, to be fair. And do you know what? I was just sitting there thinking, who are you going to say and talk about? And I was like, he was on the pitch. And that's how much that he become forgotten, I think. And then when he did get the ball, the quality wasn't as great as we were probably hoping. And I think I think we kind of all said in the chat that actually he did look a little bit out of his depth, and I think he did look out of his depth on Saturday. We've all been calling for him to be on the pitch, but yeah, maybe that 15 touches in 90 minutes. It's not a huge. Well, obviously he went off, didn't he? He went off about 70 minutes, didn't he? Was it 60 minutes he went off?
Yeah, about 60. Yeah,
but it's just frustrating because again, we've all wanted him to do so well, and his time has been given to him. But I think, unfortunately, because of the setup that we're going with, it's just not happening for him. And then I suppose in a way it's making him look like a bit of a rubbish player for us. And we know that he's not rubbish. We know that he can do the role and he can play. But I think, as you said, the setup, it didn't work, and it didn't put him into the game as much as we probably have hoped. Yeah, it's quite sad, really. But it is what it is at the minute, I think, is that's the players that we've got, and that's the setup that we're doing, and yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame. But I answer where you're coming from. Ben, Paul Donovan's in the chat. Hope you're well, Paul. He just said that Reyes was poor, but those numbers are distorted by the fact Doughty was picking the ball up constantly from the centre backs in space when they dropped off us in the second. So I don't know about you, Ben, but I just felt, maybe it's hard to see it from a TV screen, but from watching the live game, there's so many times I felt Reyes was coming short for the ball, but not getting the ball. It's almost like they overlooked him, like he was an invisible sort of player, and they kept going long, or try and put balls wide, and it just nothing's going through the middle. But I don't know whether it's just how we were set up by Alex Neil, or just the way how the game was dictated. But it just seems a bit of a waste. You know, when you've got number 10, you've got any team in the championship, you've got number 10 playing in that team who's got the creativity in them. You utilise them. A lot of good clubs have that, don't they, in the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in every level, mate. And there was a piece not long ago on the overlap where they spoke about centre halves having the ball and having the most touches of the ball in the Premier League. Yeah, you want to get your midfielders and your most creative players on it as quickly as possible, right? But just one thing I will say with Ray is, listen, we're all his biggest fans on this show, right? And I absolutely love him, and I hold him in the highest of regards. It just hasn't happened for him recently, is it? In the last few games, I said to my old man about the Derby game. It's really a game. It was an opportunity for him where I felt that he should have done more, not necessarily based on his actual performance, but like, I wanted to, yeah, it is based on his performance. Actually, I'm talking crap. I wanted to see more from him in those sorts of games, where a game where he's going to have an opportunity to get on the ball. Maybe not a whole or a different story, right? Because they're a good side, but yeah, it just hasn't happened for him yet. And
if he's not getting, I looked at previous. Sorry to interrupt you, Ben. I looked at previous stats in the last few games, and it's all the same. You know, he's getting 15 touches, 18 touches, 19 touches a game. It's not enough, in my opinion.
No, it's not. Really. But it's probably the role that he's being asked to do as well at the minute, Joe, isn't it? He's not playing in his natural sort of 10 position, I would say. He's obviously being asked to play slightly deeper, and the role that he's being asked to perform is probably out of what he would like to do. But even still, when he is getting on the ball, like he had that opportunity, didn't he, earlier in the first half, which he probably could have done a little bit more with. But as I say, I love Race. And again, we know the regard that we all hold him in. I want him. He needs to step up a little bit now. I think he's getting his opportunities. Show us what we know. We know he's got in him, and just try and influence games a bit more when it isn't going your way. Just be noticed more. I think to Bex's point, you don't know whether you could have missed him on Saturday.
Yeah. Stato, cheers that, Ben. Stato, what can Reyes do differently in his game? I mean, you know, he's coming short. He's showing for the ball. I see it quite often. He's showing for the ball, but not receiving the ball. And as Ben and Bex said, sometimes the game does go past him a little bit. And you look at the stats and numbers. You look at Doughty's touches, 62 touches. Casper, before he got injured, was hitting 60, 70 touches of the ball. Even Dan Kelly was up until recently, after the last game. But yet, you know, they're not kind of utilising our number 10 in that role, are they?
funny enough, as the guys were talking there, I was thinking about a month ago, and I won't be able to remember who it was, but one of the listeners put a comment on one of the shows that we did live, and I'm going to sound a real sad soddy, but I've been thinking about it literally since they said it. Right? They said that we don't know how to play with number 10. We don't know, as a team, we don't know how to utilize the number 10 role. We've never been able to do it. Fleming was the only one, I think, that made more of it. I think that come from the fact that he would shoot pretty much from anywhere. So you are going to maybe score more goals. But we just don't know how to play with a 10. And I think that's Reyes, Negley, anyone else who might play in there. I think it's those two at the moment, or Ballo when he's had an opportunity in there. We don't play through the middle. All of our play, all of our good stuff, if you will, comes from Crammer on the overlap, Aziz out wide, or Ballo putting balls into the box, or whoever's playing at left back bombing in. I think Zach Sturge bombed in against Bristol City. Tried to get forward whilst I thought Sturge was poor. It obviously turns out that he was feeling poorly and dizzy and whatnot. So you kind of give him a little bit of a breather there. But we don't play through the middle. And if you look at the goals, everyone was.
Paul just said as well, agrees with you.
Yeah. Everybody that kept going on about, him and Ivanovic last season. If you look at where they were on the pitch, they were central, and Bangura Williams was playing balls through the middle for Ivanovic to either chest, bring it down, run onto. We just don't seem to play like that anymore. In terms of wanting the ball and not getting it, I think it was certainly a ploy that Doughty was the one that was going to get us going. So I can understand why he had more touches of the ball. I would be incredibly interested to see. I don't know where you got that from, Joe, or if I can I'm going to try and find it now. How many touches of the ball that Camille Negley had on Saturday, and see if there was any difference between how much the difference was between the two players. But
yeah,
it's just I think Bangura Williams probably he's suffering because he's not playing probably in a system that suits him. He's playing in a position that maybe he might not necessarily be his favoured or want to. He might want to be further up on the ball, but I just think the way that we're set up, we don't see the best of Reyes. And like the guy said, we all massive fans of him. We want him to succeed. We want to see him playing. But until you get the ball at his feet, I think it might have been in the Derby game where he was in the box and he went past players just for fun. A couple of bits of skill, and that's where you need him. But we're not getting him in them positions, and that's what's maybe hampering him and making him look a little bit poor.
And 61 for Negley, Jonesy, according to Flash Score.
There you go. So again, it's the positions that they're finding themselves in. It's something isn't quite right, and unfortunately, I think Reyes he's probably, when players get back, going to come back out of the side, and I think it's really unfortunate because we haven't seen the best of him. Is a loan move the best option for him? Maybe if he's not going to get the game time when everybody's back, but we just need to find a way of getting him on the ball and get him running at players rather than him chasing them in the press or defensively or whatever.
So why is it then? Would you say that Negley's getting the touches, Doughty is, but yet Reyes is not getting the touches? It's I don't know. I just don't get it. Do you? Like, obviously they're all playing in a central midfield position, but
it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult to know to put a finger on it. Of course, I think Doughty does play 90 minutes. Bangura Williams doesn't, so that's going to obviously have a little bit of an impact. And I think Negley, I don't know at what point Negley went off, but I think he might have been on the pitch a little bit longer. But it's difficult to say. I don't think there's anything in there. They don't want to give him the ball, or they don't trust him. I don't think it's anything like that. But for whatever reason, he's perhaps not getting himself in the positions that the others are. I think Negley looked busy without really doing an awful lot, if I'm honest. And maybe that's what Bangura Williams needs to do. He needs to perhaps be putting himself in those positions, look at what Negley's doing, and maybe might receive a little bit more of the ball. He might be more braver to go forward, but I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Good. Cheers for that, Stato. Ben, start with you this time. Dan Kelly injured in training last week, wasn't it, before Saturday's game, which obviously forced Doughty into that kind of midfield role. Again, I think Chris mentioned at the start of the show, didn't he? He counted 10 central midfielders injured or, through right from the under-21s to the main squad at the moment. It's just ridiculous. I think Alex Neil was quite vague of his comments recently. I think he came out again on Southwark News. He talked about Casper De Noor. They're asking when is he back. He said, he's back, January-ish. Again, very, very vague. They asked him, Will Scott asked him, is that early January or late January? And Alex Neil's response was, well, whenever Casper's ready. So again, he's not really giving us anything there, is he? Will Smallbone, we led to believe, is long-term, out of a hamstring. Hamstring injury for Dan Kelly as well, which is going to be long-term. I mean, it's getting a bit ridiculous at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate. We've said it for weeks now. It's getting ridiculous. We didn't think it could get any more, and it has continued to. We've got to go out and get 2 central midfielders in January now, haven't we? Literally, we're going to have to. Whether we've got players that can play in that position or not, if we are still in and around the playoffs come January, we are led to believe that the club want to spend money at that point if we are in the position where
to challenge,
to challenge for the playoffs or promotion, that they will go out and get people. But it's getting to that point now where it doesn't matter how many players we've already got. We need players fit. Otherwise, we will fall out of the playoff places. Because if we go into the second half of the season with no midfielders, it goes without saying we are going to struggle. We need to go and get some players in. The players that we've got, there's a lot made about it all the time, right? But what do we put it down to? We talk about the training ground. There's been talk of that. There's been talk about our performance coaches that we've had, and it just I don't know. There's got to be something more to it, and I know people will say that other clubs get the amount of injuries that we do, but we seem to get so many recurring ones. Here's something I never thought I would say. The likes of Billy now, like where do you start to go? The amount of games that Billy has missed. Like, yes, he's someone I would love to keep around the club, and I love him, but he misses so many games. Like, he's no good. He's no good for the club being in the physio room all the time. Kelly, I mean, he comes in, looks all right. Now he's injured again. I don't know what more there is to say. He's obviously a player in there, but again, he's no good to anyone if he's injured all the time, and he's been injured more than he's been available since you've signed him. Massimo's one. I mean, that's just really unfortunate. But yeah, as I say, mate, listen, we need to go out and get 2 central midfielders in January, probably as a minimum. Then we're going to have a very, very bloated squad.
Well,
just
when everyone's back fit.
Sorry,
exactly. Yeah.
Joe, just on that and talking about the training ground and whatnot, and I was just thinking about it. There's clearly an issue there, but what's really unlucky is that I think Smallbone and Luongo was definitely against QPR, and I don't know why I've got it in my head that Smallbone was injured in that game as well. It was both of them in the same game, and Mazu Saku was against Portsmouth away. So they're injuries that are picked up during a game. It's incredibly unlucky that not only are our injuries on the training ground costing us for 4, 6, 8 weeks, the injuries we're picking up in games. Sometimes your player goes off, they take a heavy knock, and you go, right, they're out for a couple of weeks and they come back. But they're both, it's the length of injuries. True. It's the one that does it for me. It's not, and it isn't just the trend. That is a problem, and it does need to be looked at. But it's so unlucky. The only one I would say that isn't unlucky is Luongo, because it was that fella they've got up front, the guy, the one they were singing Voldemort at I can't think of his name, but at QPR, the striker, the big bloke, he done Luongo, and he knew that he'd done him. So that one wasn't unlucky. That was a bad tackle. But it's just sod's law that every injury we get is long term. It's never short term.
And just on Mark's point, Joe, that you put up about loans, yeah, it probably is going to be loans. But then the only thing with that is what sort of quality are they going to be? We're not going to get anyone from the Championship who is affecting a team now that's going to be on a loan. Are we going to get a youngster from the Premier League, in which case they're not going to be Championship or have a lot of Championship experience?
It'll be like a Wintour loan that we had last time from Cardiff, weren't it? That kind of level, yeah.
Do you know what? We could probably do a lot worse than Ryan Wintle at the minute.
I know,
you need some bodies in
there.
I
thought that as I said that. There's me mocking him. Actually, we could do him right now, couldn't we?
Yeah, but that's the thing, mate. Of course, it's going to be a loan that we look at, but are they going to be good enough? Are they going to come in and affect games? They're going to be youngsters. Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one.
Is that better? For all three of you, is it better or worse to have an actual two centre mids playing in the middle of the park that might not have experience in the Championship, or patching it up with Bangura, Williams, and Doughty? What option's better?
Well, I was going to ask you actually, Stato, in that there's a few people come out saying, do we need to go right football at the moment? Yeah, with all the casualties, all the players we've got missing at the moment, do we need to be a little bit more hard to beat, more defensive, maybe go 5 at the back, go more defensive midfield rather than go all attack, which we kind of tend to do quite often under Alex Neil? Do you see that as a way to kind of move forward to grind out results over the next sort of few weeks, maybe?
It is, but with the caveat, stealing a word that our esteemed leader loves to use in his post-match, that we've got Southampton, Ipswich, and Bristol City coming up. I'll take Blackburn out of the equation. We've got 3 teams that are in, I'm going to say, the top 10. Southampton might not be, but teams that are going for the top 6. The Bristol City are going to come, and that's going to be a right battle after what happened a couple of weeks ago. So yes, I think it is an option. We could maybe go 3 at the back, but that didn't work at Portsmouth. Portsmouth made us look incredibly poor, and we're going to be playing better teams than those in the coming week. So I don't know. To answer your question, Joe, I think it's a way of utilising what players we have in the squad, and it might keep us a little bit more competitive. But when we've tried to change the system and tried to change tactics a little bit, it hasn't quite worked, and we're coming to a crunch time against crunch teams. I just don't see how I just don't see how we can look to do that when it hasn't worked against lesser sides.
No, I agree. Bex, I don't know if you answered that question, did you, with regards to the injury side of it? I mean, it's ridiculous. Even Josh Coburn at the moment, they're aiming for him to be back on the 10th of Jan for the game against Burnley. That's in an ideal situation. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. But again, lots of injuries. We've got lots of games come up thick and fast over the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks. How can we sustain this? How can we get control and grind out some points? Do we change tactics? Do we go route ball, or do we just keep doing what we're doing now and play who we've got and just hope for the best? I guess
it feels pretty relentless, to be honest with you, with all these injuries, and I think, like, when we went out on Saturday, I just thought, oh, please, let's not come out with another injury, because we're just at the bare bones anyway. Yeah, we could change tactics, but every time we've changed tactics, it's just gone really awful for us, and that's been with players that are fully fit, and it's not worked. And we're now saying, do we change tactics with players that don't even play in positions? So it does feel like, I think we just have to stick and just get on and grit our teeth and grin and bear it, and hope that we come out with no injuries, like any further injuries, and hope that these injuries that are due to come back, these players, will come back when they're saying, like you said, Alex Neil's being very it's going to be like January-ish, or it's going to be around this time. To be fair, I don't even think he probably really knows. I don't think it's really fully. Well, he probably does know. He's the manager. I hope he does know, but it just feels like it. I think he's probably as fed up as what we are. He's probably thinking, what the hell? Why are we getting these injuries? What is it that's causing them? But it just does feel relentless. It just feels that, yes, other clubs get it, but like we said, when we look, what we got 14, 15 first team players out, and that's just mental. If you look at how small our squad is anyway. I think we're just gonna have to grin and bear it and get on, unfortunately. Route ball does sound quite appealing though at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. I used to hate those times though.
Literally,
it was so boring. We never had the ball. Just sit behind and nick a free kick or a corner here and there. It's just but it was
we mock it and everything, but he kind of got us where he got us. But the football wasn't exciting like we've been watching this past year. It's been so exciting. So to kind of go, let's have a bit of round ball goes a little bit like, oh, but then is it kind of better the devil you know? And actually, it might be quite exciting for us to see a bit of round ball.
I know.
So,
right, guys, I got a little bit of an announcement, and I've had the approval from the club to mention this. Now, it's going around, the rumour is going around, so it's not complete, news, a shock to everyone here. But for those of you who don't know, there is a new head of performance to be announced soon at the club. A guy called Johnny Northeast is joining Mill as head of performance. So you might remember previously we had Lawrence Bloom doing the job as head of performance. He was let go or left the club in August of this year. And Perry Blanchett, who is our head of sports science, has been interim head of performance since then. You might have seen him as the water boy, going on the pitch and giving the drinks and the fluids to the players. And he will still be kept on doing his job as head of sports science, but we are going to bring in a head of performance. And this guy, Johnny Northeast, will be overseeing the sports science, performance, nutrition, recovery, all the fundamentals, and he's playing a big part in trying to help our players and make sure that they're going to be fit and ready and available, and certainly try and help out with our injury crisis at the moment. I've had a look at his LinkedIn page, Johnny Northeast. You can check it yourselves, guys, if you want to. But his background is head of performance for Besiktas over in the Turkish league, head of performance at West Brom, Barnsley, Cardiff, Swansea. He was also involved with the England under-17 setup as well. So this guy comes, with a high sort of pedigree. Obviously it's a big statement from the club. It's a new head count, but it isn't a new head count because they haven't really replaced Lawrence Bloom, who was doing the job before, I suppose. But I guess, Stato, this shows intent by the club, doesn't it? They're putting their hands in the pocket again. They're bringing somebody that's going to hopefully help our squad and make sure they're going to be more available going forward. What do you make of that, hearing that news? I mean, I'm sure you've heard that before, haven't you?
Well, unless he's got a magic wand, I don't really know what he's going to be able to do in terms of getting our players available and back out on the training, and playing.
It's not just getting them fit and available. It's when they are fit. It's how they come back to recovery. Everyone have their own device plan on what they'll be doing as their recovery. It's not one rule for all. He'll be tailored to every single player, looking at what's going to help them, benefit them, how they train. Some may have to train more or less than others. It says all the fundamentals. This guy apparently is top draw. And I think they did a lot of recruitment, but this guy stood out head and shoulders amongst everybody else. So I can only see it as a positive thing from the club in what they're trying to do, trying to help combat this issue we've got clearly at the moment.
Obviously that was tongue in cheek, but I think that the club clearly know Alex Neil maybe has had an input to say, look, this is ridiculous. Something needs to change. I don't know. We've had this problem for such a long time now with so many players over the years that have been injured and had problems. So look, I think the biggest issue is it's not so much the players getting injured. It's when they come back, they don't have the proper phased, back into the first team. It's almost, okay, they're available, they play in the first team. They have to play. Like Billy Mitchell is a prime example. Billy had to play straight away as soon as he come back in. He got injured again. Casper Denor was injured, wasn't he? Come back and has another injury. So that's the problem. They're not getting the proper return to work, that the phasing into the first team. So the biggest issue this guy is going to have is how quickly are we going to get players back in Alex Neil's squad? But then that leads to another bout of injury. So I think short term, I don't know how much of an impact this is going to have, but long term, and perhaps once you get through a 3-month period and people start coming back, that's when you might see players' performance levels and energy levels and fitness levels maybe improve, because he'll start being able to use the data and whatever from there. But short term, I just don't see it making that much of an issue. That's a longer term project for me.
Last one. Cheers, that. I appreciate that. And Bex, having heard that, what's your thoughts on the new head of performance that's going to be announced shortly?
Yeah, I think as Sto said, like it's not going to be a short-term fix. This is going to be, we're going to have to look for long-term, maybe going into next season more than anything. Who knows? He might be a bit of a miracle worker. Like you, I looked at his CV and kind of looked him up and everything, and kind of looked to see what he'd done. Yeah, he's had some jobs and he's performed.
He has, which is a slight concern, isn't it? He
I think that's my concern. Yeah. It's been a bit of a jump arounder, but maybe he just hasn't found the job that's been right for him. And it could be that,
True.
yeah, he is the guy that is right for the job. And we need somebody to come in and look at that performance side and hopefully work with that and then kind of peter down the injuries. But yeah, I think at the minute, again, as Doughty said, it is a case of these players are coming back, and as soon as they're probably kind of sitting on that level of like showing, okay, you can give us this much through the game, you're going to be back in the game. And I suppose rightly so at the minute, because we're so limited on our options. So
it's the whole magic, like Ben DeViva says here, that they control training loads, recovery and injury prevention work. They manage how players return from injury. Most injuries come from load spikes or rush returns. So getting this role right can help. And I'll make him right. I think that's a great way of looking at it. I think it's something we should, like, as I think one of the guys mentioned there, it should happen maybe 6 months ago. It's great it's happening now, but maybe it should happen sooner.
Recruiting somebody, I think, and it just never happened. So that's why we had the interim guy, and
that's right.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why we didn't get somebody, but look, we found somebody now, so we just can hope that he's going to maybe wave his magic wand and throw some positivity down the ground, and everyone's going to be amazing.
Just on that though, and this is sort of towards Ben. I'll ask him, but our list of central midfielders at the moment, I bet you all of them are thinking to themselves, I don't want to be the first one. I don't want to be the first one to be available, because as soon as the first central midfielder is fit and available, they're going to be playing. There's no two ways about it. They are going to be in the first team. So then, and obviously, the question to perhaps lead on.
The textbook's out the window, then, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that's TC there on Mill Drive home. Can he play central midfield at this rate? I think he might barely have to. That's his first assignment, isn't it?
Absolutely. And but again, and I asked the question earlier, and is it better? Are we better off rushing back whoever the first central midfielder is that's fit into the first team, playing with a patched up team, or bringing in two maybe unexperienced but actual central midfielders? I know you going round, Joe, so sort of aiming that towards Ben. What would you do, Ben? What would you do?
I mean, I think you've got to bring players in, personally, because as I said, we the likes of Billy again. If anyone hasn't seen, JP Millwall put out the bar chart of the amount of games that players have missed this season. Billy's missed 14 games this season, so there's no guarantee that as soon as he comes back, he is going to be in the team and able to play every game for the rest of the season, is there? So I think you've also got to consider that when we do get these players back, it's probably a high possibility they're going to be out injured again pretty soon, or they're going to miss another part of the season. So yeah, for me, Jonesy, I think you've got to get players in.
There you go.
And just to answer the point on the head of performance, I feel like I'm being really negative tonight. I'm not meaning to be. But every club in the Football League will have a head of performance. Why has it taken us 6 months to get someone signed on a permanent deal?
Yeah.
Genuinely, that is a question. Like every club in the Football League will have a head of performance. Why has it taken us so long to get someone in on a permanent
we've
basis?
got somebody in there doing the job as interim. I'm not saying that he's not up to the job, Perry Blanchard, but I guess maybe slightly underqualified. Maybe to the extent of our injury list. Maybe it's become a little bit too a bigger job for him. But I hear what you're saying, Ben. That should be addressed at the start of the season, not halfway through. Yeah,
it's like not having a head of recruitment.
Yeah,
it's like not having a head of sports science. It's like, do you know, it's a bit of a baffling one to me, that, mate. As a key person behind the scenes, why? All right, we've got an interim in place, and you probably have to manage. You have to manage them as a person. I understand that, but the club ultimately comes first, and it's a little bit of a concern as to why it hasn't been addressed sooner, in my head. But maybe I'm being too critical there.
No.
No, that's good point there. Yeah, exactly, guys. We've gone past 90 minutes now. We're into extra time at the moment, so I want to move forward a little bit this one. So Saturday, Millwall away to Blackburn Rovers. I'm going to start with yourself first, Bex. What will be your lineup for Saturday? I guess it dictates a lot about who's available at the moment, I guess, in some ways. But again, guys, in the chat, get involved. Put your suggestions on there. What I want to know is, would you go for the same formation tactics that we have been going, or would you go for 3 at the back or 5 at the back, what you want to call it? If you go for 3 at the back, what would be your 3 at the back or your 5 at the back? Because obviously something needs to sort of change. We can't just leak in goals where we have been these last sort of game or so, have we?
So it's getting called off first off, so we haven't got worried
First of all,
First and foremost, don't bother travelling, everybody. No, I'm joking. So what we spoke about this earlier, and like part of me was going, let's do that 3 at the back and then go out with the wingers and then in. But again, I think because we're so limited.
But who would you play as in a winging role? It's like this.
Well, that was then my kind of like when I said, no, let's just do the 3 at the back. I was like, actually, then I don't actually really know who would put in them winging roles. Part of me was going, Danny Mack. But I think he's going to just end up getting tired, and then we haven't got that replacement, and then we end up changing the system again in the middle of the game. So I think maybe we stick with what we've got. We kind of keep that back line. Part of me saying let's bring Joe Bryan in from the start. I actually think that he made an impact when he come in on Saturday, because obviously we haven't touched on Zach Sturgeon. I guess he was obviously clearly unwell still, but he had like one of his worst games, and actually, it was really refreshing when Joe Bryan come on. So I'd probably go with Joe Bryan at the back, and then
as in the back 3. Sorry,
no, I do back 4.
Oh, you go back 4. Sorry,
I'm going to do back 4 to be honest with you. Jake, Caleb, and then Tristan. But I think just where we're so limited, I'm finding it really hard to know what our best option. I think if we keep changing it, it's just never gonna fully, it's never gonna fully work. But I think we need to kind of stick so that we've got Tristan running forward, because he is I really
he's
want
the outlet at the moment.
I do. I think he's our outlet, and that's it. And I really enjoy him in that right back role, but I really like that partnership of Jake and him. I find that really a lot stronger than what him and Caleb is.
But then Caleb's been getting reviews, good reviews last couple of games for his performances. He's not playing badly. He's doing really well.
No, he's not playing badly. And actually, since he's been getting his games, we're really seeing what he can do. But
he's improving each game.
He's improving, but I really felt like that Jake and Tristan, they were a real strong unit, and they were a force to be reckoned with. But then part of me is really torn, because then you've put Tristan on the right, and my God, he's just so quick. He's tall. He gets forward. People don't expect someone like him to be running forward and getting in the box. He can.
Good looking, great hair.
Right, good. I wasn't going to put it in. I was staying away from that. I was going football, but he just he can get his foot on the end of the ball. Something Idemo don't necessarily always do. There we go, Ben. I'll put that in for you. But I'm just really torn, because part of me wants him in, like, if we went for a back 3, but then I'm really stuck on who we would have out on them wings, because I think the people we've got don't have the full 90 minutes in them to do that position.
No, I agree. Cheers for that. And your predictions for score, Saturday?
Prediction.
Give something positive. Go on, Bex. Hey?
It's going to be... Right, okay. I actually just think it's going to be a 1-1. I'd be really happy with a point. I'd be very happy in this day and the circumstances that we've got.
I'll take a point.
Amazing. I think there will be a goal.
We need all 3. I agree. Yeah.
We need all 3, but a point would be great.
We can't lose. That's all right. Ben, coming to yourself next, mate. What's your thoughts on how we're going to set up on Saturday and your score prediction?
How we're going to set up? We're going to put all the names that are players who are fit in a hat, pull them out, and see what happens. Mate, I don't know.
Before we get Doughty playing in goal, we'll have Max Crocombe up front, and why not?
All I do know, mate, is Max Crocombe is going to play in goal. That is what I do know. would I change anything? I'm just a bit like, what can you change? If we go to a 3 at the back, we don't have 2 central midfielders that can play in a deeper midfield position. Well, then there's no different in playing the 4-2-3-1. I don't envy Alex Neil at the moment, mate. I really don't. I think actually the only thing we can guarantee, as I said, it's going to be Crocombe in goal, Kramer right backs. I mean, same back four. Back four, and then I think Joe Bryan, like Beck said, is going to come in at left back. So that is, I think, almost certain. What's then going to be in front of him? I think again, Mihailo is your banker. Ballow's going to play on the left, on the right. Emakhu's going to play on the left, and then the 3 positions in the middle. I don't know. I suppose they're going to go with the same. I don't know what you can change.
And sorry, you just said obviously you said Ballow's going to go on the right. And for me, Ballow's been awful when he's been on the right.
Yes,
so
but
that in itself is just like,
they won't play Emakhu out there, will they, Bex?
They won't. That's it. We've got no one else to go out on the right.
What about Howland? A lot of guys mentioned the chat about Howland. Is he ready to step up now? He's an inverted, left-footed right winger, a bit like Aziz. He plays a similar sort of way. So could he be? I know it's a bit soon to kind of throw him straight in, but certainly he's got to be in the squad and get some minutes, doesn't he?
Absolutely. My only thing with that would be, why haven't we seen more of him so far, Joe?
Yeah, good point.
When we have seen him, I've really liked him. Again, he's
great shout from Alex here as well, Ben. Blackburn player back 3. Will Alex Neil look to match up with him? Could he?
Do we? I just don't think we have the personnel to do it at the moment, do we? Because then what would that be? Danny Mack at right back, Kramer, Taylor, Coops, Bryan. Is that the way we'd line up with 5 at the back? And then again, you've got the same issues in midfield. What is it going to be? Doughty and RBW in there then? And then that means you're going to play Langstaff up top with Mihailo. Is that what we're thinking? Or possibly. Ballow maybe in a deeper role to support Mihailo. Square pegs and round holes. I don't know, mate. I think you're more likely going to see a similar formation, and they're just going to try and make do with what we've got.
Yeah. Would you go for your score prediction, Ben?
I'm like Bex. I would 100% take a point based on what I said earlier, with the fact that Blackburn haven't won at home since October, haven't won their last 5. We're 100% losing, and the fact I haven't seen us win a game yet this season.
Bloody hell. Well, hopefully that curse. That curse will end soon. It's got to end sooner or later, isn't it? It can't carry on this forever.
Absolutely, there is that as well.
Stato, coming to yourself, mate. How do you think we're going to set it up on Saturday? Give us something positive and score prediction as well, if you don't mind.
I haven't really got much positivity for you until the end of this, what I'm going to say. But I think I actually would take right now it to absolutely belt down in Blackburn over the next few days and the game be called off. The only problem with that is that I think that I've just looked it up, that Ipswich, Stoke and Hull are all 3 teams that could go above us this week. Ipswich home banker, they're playing Sheffield Wednesday. Hull play West Brom, which is a tough game, and Watford play Stoke. So if we don't play and end up outside of the top 6 going into Christmas, I think that would be deflating for the players and Neil. I don't think they deserve that either. So I then changed my argument to say, right, we want to play the game, want to try and build some momentum. Chris said earlier that it was must win. I actually agree with him. I think out of the next few, this is the game that we really need to win.
It's winnable, but just with the squad depth we've got at the moment, it makes it so hard, doesn't it?
It's impossible to know. It's impossible to know what Neil's going to do. I actually think, for all the talk of tactics, I actually think we're just going to roll out the same team minus Aziz and Sturge, because obviously Sturge, I don't think, can play after what happened at the weekend. I just don't think it would be right to put him in. Aziz is obviously suspended, so there will be changes. The positivity I will give you is, and I'm going to get absolutely hammered for this, by the way. I actually cannot see Blackburn turning around their form this weekend. I just can't see it. They're just so woefully bad. The manager doesn't really know what he's doing. It's just I think
tactical masterclass pending now.
Whilst while again, you can clip this, by the way, but whilst we're struggling for numbers, and we said it that Hull perhaps played us at the right time this weekend, the fact that we have this, the fact that we have said that we're short of players, this, that, and the other. Maybe this is the sort of fixture we've needed with the squad that we've got. That we're not going to be up against it in terms of going to a Coventry, to a Borough, to a Hull, to an Ipswich. That's the only thing I would say. So I'm going to stick my neck out and go. I think that Ben might see his first win of the season this weekend at Blackburn.
Oh.
I think it'll be the worst 1-0 you've ever seen, but I'm going to go for 1-0.
I'll take it, Jonesy.
I'm going to go for I mean, Blackburn last year was absolutely hell, as you know. But I can 1-0 Millwall. 1-0 Millwall.
1-0 Millwall. There's the positivity we need.
And Joe, what about yourself? You've not said yours.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Millwall as well. I think it's going to be a bit of a bit of a crap game. Tough conditions, bad pitch, and I think we're going to nick it somehow. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to nick it, guys. In the chat, get your score prediction there as soon as you can, and we'll read those out for you very, very shortly. Guys, thank you to Ben, to Stato. To Bex for being with us this evening. Really do appreciate it. Any final words from yourself, Ben, before we say goodbye to our listeners?
I'd like to say to Alex, I'm normally the most positive one here. So, 100 points, 100 goals.
HMS Pistol League still on, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
as optimistic as you've been this evening. Cheers for that, Ben. Thanks for coming on, mate. And Stato, your next final words from yourself, mate?
Yeah, just for me, I think there might be a live next week, but this is the last live that I believe I can do before Christmas.
When's Christmas Eve? What day is Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve is next Wednesday, but next week is obviously hectic with Christmas in full swing and stuff. So thank you to the listeners. I hope everybody has a lovely Christmas. Obviously we'll be at games of football over, football doesn't stop over the Christmas period, but thank you for supporting us. Enjoy your Christmas with your loved ones and your friends and your family, and hopefully the boys can send us off into Christmas at the weekend with that scrappy 1-0 win away at Blackburn. But thanks guys, and have a good one.
Cheers, Stato. Let's hope so. And appreciate you being on this evening, mate. Have a good one. And last but certainly not least, lovely Bex. Any final words for yourself and for our lovely listeners?
Yeah, so I think Craig asked for no row at ball. So no row at ball, everybody. It's not happening. And then also,
just in case Alex Neil is tuning in.
And Rosalind's there in the chat as well. So I met her on Saturday at a hen party.
Yes,
and I think she raised like £100. So really well done.
Oh, wow. Well mentioned. Yeah,
£100. So well done to that. But yeah, I think, look, we just have to make do, amend, and just be positive that we even have a squad on the pitch, to be honest with you. But yeah, thanks for having me as always. It's been great hour and 52 minutes.
I know. I'm desperately trying to get it under the 2 hour mark. We always say 90 minutes, that's it. We might go into extra time sometimes, but I hate when it gets to 2 hour mark. It just seems too long, doesn't it? But look, guys, thanks for coming on and being my co-host this evening. Guys in the chat, thank you so much for being with us this evening. I really do appreciate it. Again, please like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. As you know, every penny we make to this channel goes to Cancer Research UK, and we might even get TT and Zach in next Tuesday for a pre-Christmas appearance. There you go. You never know. So we've got. Can you screenshot that, please, Stato? Just so we can blackmail him afterwards.
It's clipped.
It's clipped. Good. But yeah, look, guys, thanks for being with us this evening. Again, we really do appreciate it. Please like, please subscribe, share it with your friends. And we will see you on the next show. And thanks again, and we'll see you. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you